What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Six Rings King Show. Jazz Santana here, joined by Vish, Danny Gillette, our good friend, a friend of the program, Mr. Max Kesselhalt from Maxed Out. What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
Doing
Good,
good.
good.
How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Just running around like a crazy person for Christmas, and then of course, every time I talk, every once in a while, Siri on my phone decides that she wants to talk back like an idiot. I'm over here looking like, who the hell's talking to me? Anyways, going crazy, bro. It's a crazy day, but obviously we've got some pretty exciting news. We got some a great guest coming on today. We've got some other news that we did already talk about a little bit on Twitter this past weekend, but kind of wanted to mention it again. I think I want to start off with that, but before we get into that, our special guest tonight, aside from Max, of course, you're always very special, Max, is Miami Central four-star defensive end, who I think we all on this show agree that he probably should be a five-star and ranked possibly the top player in the class of 2023, defensive end out of Miami Central, Mr. Reuben Bain, Reuben Hurricane Bain, right? And listen, it doesn't hurt that we just hired his brother, right? Doesn't hurt.
Allegedly hired his brother.
Alleged? No, he's got a U thing on already. Doesn't he have like a? I think
Does
I,
he?
I think I saw something that he was already. Anyways, I think it's more than allegedly, but that's okay. Whatever, it is what it is. We won't talk about that with him, obviously, but talk to him about a little bit about what's going on with his recruiting, how he feels, and of course, talk a little bit about some of his teammates that he's played with over there. Obviously, one being Wesley. So Max, you say Basante, I say Basainth. Which one is it right?
I, I
Which
I
one's right?
change it every time I say it. I gotta keep it fresh. So
You know what? He's good enough where he can go by one name. He's like Prince. He can just be Wesley, and we know who
West,
we're talking
yeah,
about. So he doesn't need the
Wesley.
last name. He's good enough where he can just be Wesley.
Yeah, so obviously we'll talk a little bit about him. We'll talk a little bit about uh, Terrence Lewis because I know that obviously he's a central product as well, and just kind of go over those kind of things, which will be kind of exciting to talk about with him. But before we even get to that, and if you guys see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to pull it up here. Great news that all of our all of our subscribers and anybody who's watching the show could really take a look at. We're really excited about this. We would love for your support. The Six Rings Kings came out with some really cool gear, man. And if you can kind of put it up, I don't even know how to announce it, but there it is right there. So if any of you guys heard the press conference, Coach Mario Cristobal was pretty psyched about how he's going to go about how he goes about his days, what his normal day looks like, and on the recruiting trail and everything. It's called the what is it, the 16 shots of Cuban coffee shirt. And it's really cool because as you probably all heard, he said 16 shots of Cuban coffee and 2 hours of sleep. That's what he does every day, in and out, and that's how he kind of operates, which we all thought was a pretty cool saying. So the shirt is up on the Five Reasons Sports Network website's fivereasonsports.com. Five spelled out though, Five fivereasonsports.com. Check it out. Go to the merchandise there. You can get it in short sleeves in orange and black, and you can also get it in long sleeves in black. There's the link. I think that we just posted it up, or someone just posted it. I don't know who the hell posted it, but somebody did. And you guys could check it out there. Please make sure you get your shirts. I don't know if they'll be in for Christmas, but they'll be in at some point, so you'll get a late Christmas present there.
First of all, I posted the link. I
Oh.
guess when I start the stream up, I become Ethan. So I didn't realize I had this kind of power.
Ah!
Oh, I can do some damage here. But
Oh
yeah, no,
yes.
that shirt is timeless. It's very Miami. So yeah, definitely pick one up. Pick one up for your friends. It's one that will not age poorly
Max,
as Cristobal starts winning championships here. You're gonna want that shirt.
Max, did you get yours already?
well, not yet. I'm in the process. I'm in the process of getting my Team Miami Flow merch right now. So
By the way, that's really cool too. If you guys get a chance, go check out that Team Miami Flow apparel as well. It's really cool. You can customize a lot of things on there also. So whenever you want to shameless plug, Max, you can always plug that here too, brother. You know we're a family, so
Of
so
course.
Yeah,
definitely check it
and
out.
the Team Miami Flow merch, all the sales proceeds goes to NIL deals. So definitely,
And
definitely
apparently, I
check
found
that
out
out.
last night. I found out last night that my mustache is worth $1,000.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tell a little bit about that mustache. What happened there with that? What was the bet?
Yeah, so last week on the show, we were all having, a good time, and one of our viewers said, "Hey Max, how much, in donations would it take for you to grow out a mustache like Coach Feld, the strength and conditioning coach over at Oregon, who we all think is gonna be coming over here?" And I said, "Oh, $1,000. The money's not going to me anyway. It's going to our NIL deals." So I told him, if next week on our show, if we get at least $1,000 in donations, I would grow out my mustache. And as Hurricane Kilo says in the chat, over $1,000 last night. So I am now in the process of growing out a crazy looking mustache.
So I don't think we'll ever get to well, not ever. I don't want to say ever, but I don't think we'll get to 500 tonight. So I'm gonna go with 500. Get you guys me and a man bun and I'll grow it out and I'll do a man
Ooh.
bun. Yeah, look at Dan.
You
Danny's like,
you
ooh, man
Ooh.
you
I
bun.
can
don't know.
you can still grow hair.
I can. I know.
Oh.
It's there. It's there, man. It's
All
there.
right,
I
I
just hide
can't.
it. I just hide it.
Yeah, like I don't have the man bun option, so I can't commit to that. Unfortunately, genetics did not allow me to have that option at this point.
It's all right. It's not gonna happen. Nobody's gonna donate. Donate 500 here. If they do, I will grow. I'll grow it out and I'll put the man bun on for sure.
Never
For
say never,
everybody.
Jazz.
Hey,
Never say
well,
never.
it's a challenge. It's a challenge. We'll see if we even get $20 tonight. So let's see. But anyways, let's kind of get right back into it before Reuben Bain joins us on the show. Uh, you know, we're still kind of up in the air on some of these coaches on the coaching staff. I think that some did become official, right? With looks like Alex Mirabal, the offensive line. Uh, okay, he's going to be. He's going to be
See, Jazz saw the chat. He's getting positive feedback.
unbelievable. Appreciate it, whoever you are. Appreciate it. So
No, we
yes.
gotta put that up there. I mean, come
Oh
on.
Jesus. Oh man. Oh man. Anyways, so yeah. Um, Alex Mirabal. That's what I was saying. Alex Mirabal. Alex Mirabal apparently is official now as the offensive line coach or as an assistant coach, right? We don't. It doesn't say it on there, but obviously we all know he's going to be the offensive line coach here at the University of Miami, and it also looks like Brian McClendon as well has come over from Oregon to join the staff with Mario Cristobal as well. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about them. I know we know a lot about Alex Mirabal. We know that that's Cristobal's right hand man. But a little bit more about Brian McClendon. Maybe Max, you can kind of start us off and shed some light on McClendon and what he brings to the table and what kind of coach he's going to be down here at the University of Miami.
Allegedly, right?
Allegedly. Well, no, someone posted that he's already on the website.
Yeah, he's on like one of the Miami websites, but it
Right.
hasn't been announced yet. So I'm just gonna keep saying allegedly until I see an
It's
announcement.
done. It's
It's
done.
done.
But
It's
All right.
done.
it's done. But anyways, yeah, what you're getting with Brian McClendon is you're getting a top 3 recruiter at the wide receiver position in the country. Offhand, the only guy that I could say is probably better than him at recruiting at the wide receiver position is Brian Hartline at Ohio State, who played, for the Dolphins. But you look at the guys that Brian McClendon's had committed to him: Isaiah Crowell, 5-star; Sony Michelle, 5-star; Nick Chubb, 5-star; Todd Gurley, high 4-star. All 3 of those guys that he got to Georgia at the running back position were within like a 3-year span, which is just ridiculous because they're all like starting in the NFL. Well, Todd Gurley isn't anymore. And then people are like, well, what has he done at the receiver position if he's been a running backs coach? Well, there's a guy in the league right now who is one of the best skill position players in the world, and that's Deebo Samuel, who played at South Carolina and is arguably one of the best skill position players in the NFL right now. He coached him at South Carolina. He also coached Brian Edwards who was drafted by the Raiders. So he has the coaching pedigree. He's very, very well respected. I reached out to some people that I know that kind of work in college football, that are commentators and stuff like that, and they've said nothing but good things about him. And I think it would be a huge asset for him to be official here.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about McClendon. But without further ado, actually, we are we got a very special guest backstage as well. If you want to bring him on, we'll get back to the coaching. Um, Here he is now, Ruben. I don't know if he can turn on his camera or not, but he's still there. What's going on, Ruben? How are you, man?
Hey y'all, I can't turn on my camera. It's disabled right now. But what's up, Ed?
No worries, no worries. We appreciate you coming on the show. Talk a little bit about yourself and what you got going on as far as your future and what your recruiting is looking like. But again, we want to really thank you so much for coming on the show a little bit and talking some football with us, man. Thank you.
Thank y'all for having me.
So, we can kind of get right back. The first thing I want to talk about with Ruben, the first question I have, because I know Max might have a question and Vish as well. Um, what's it like, seeing guys like Wes, even Terrence a couple years back, some of the other guys that are there, Daughtry, some of the other guys that you play with there at Central. What's it like when it comes to their recruiting process, and how has it been with yours as well so far? The last couple of years, and how it's going as far as your recruiting process is.
Uh, just watching those guys, it shows me the potential of what a recruit could be and what a recruit could go through. Just seeing all the visits, the relationship with coaches and people outside of football that just like them because of football. Um, Myself personally, I would say the recruiting process is going pretty well. It's picking up the speed. So I got nothing but positive reviews on that. But like you said, with my teammates and everything, I get to see how the recruiting process goes for a big name target or big time prospect, and just sit back and watch and just understand how that's gonna go for me in the next year or so. It's good because I already know what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Max, you got a question for Ruben?
Yeah, so Ruben, obviously, your uncle Tolbert played at Miami, and your older brother played at FAU. How have they kind of helped you understand the ins and outs of your recruiting process, and what are some of the pieces of advice that they've given you throughout this process?
They helped me realize the business side of college football. Even though coaches may show all this love, anything one could up and leave out of nowhere, or just have different opinion, a different opinion on you out of nowhere. So they just always brought that side of football to me, and just realizing that I have to do what I want and what I like, not for others people business, because I got to put my best interest forward, my best foot forward, because at the end of the day, it's my future, and I just got to trust my gut really, and with research, but also trust my gut.
Yeah, definitely. I got a question for you now, Ruben. Who are some of I guess the schools that have started to reach out to you, or is there anybody that's kind of keeping in contact with you more than others? And how does that feel to have some of these? Because I'm sure some of these big Power 5 programs have already reached out. How does it feel to kind of do that? And what are some of the some of the schools that are kind of coming after you and recruiting you hard?
Answer your first question, schools that are recruiting me hard, I would say Alabama, Penn State, Miami, Pittsburgh, Mississippi State, Auburn, Florida, Florida State, and I would say Clemson, but not Oklahoma, just to name a few.
That's it?
Then
No, I'm just kidding.
the second question was, how does it feel, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so at first it's like a lot to take in, because with September 1st being like the day I'm eligible to talk to coaches, it was just a whole bunch of my phone blowing up and everything like that. So at first it's a lot to take in, but as it dials down a little bit, and you get to see who really wants you, because they continuously contact you and everything like that. It's just like, I can't find the word, but it's like a gut feeling because it makes you and what's the word? It makes you appreciate like all the work you put in and everything you do to get to this point to have all the coaches want you and recruit you like that. So at the end of the day, for me, it's just like whatever you're doing is the right thing. So just keep on doing it. So even more coaches or even more people or the same people from the same school keep contacting you.
Max, Fish, you guys got anything for Rube?
Go ahead, Vish.
Danny?
Yeah, just a more of a general question. You don't got to get into specific schools. What is it that you're looking for, kind of in because I think you got great advice. Like you got to look out for yourself, figure out what situation's best for you. Coaches can up and leave in the middle of the night. Like you got to make that decision for yourself. So what is it? And you don't have to list specific schools or anything, but what is it specifically you're kind of looking at that would make you attracted to a certain school?
Well, first the relationship and the atmosphere of the coaching staff in the city because also I don't only have to play football, but also I have to stay there for 4 years. So I got to make sure it's a safe environment for me. Then academics also because football is not so long. I'm gonna need my degree eventually. Then after that, I'll say there's the style of play if it relates to me, like uh formations and defense and how they run their defense, their schemes, everything like that. And lastly, I would just say like trying to look into how I said before, how long the coaches will stay there, and if it seems like they're gonna be in there for a little minute, or they trying to get a bigger job.
Yeah, it's definitely important. I would say, right, is to have some stability and know where you're going, and understand that they're going to be able to get there and develop you into, just kind of maximizing your potential, which I think is really important. But speaking of potential, right, we're talking about Max. I think you're more of the stat guru here than I am. How many sacks did Ruben have this past season?
29
29
in
Woo!
11 games, so that's like what 2.6, 2.7 sacks a game.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? Something like that. So obviously, right now it's important. You've got the off season coming up now. You've got a lot of things going on, and now that after the Christmas break, I'm sure you're going to spend some time with family and whatnot. Now, what is kind of like your schedule after the holidays? What do you do to continue to kind of stay in shape and kind of stay? Do you do all the camp circuits? What is it that you do now to kind of prepare yourself for next season, and obviously to still be able to stay in contact and be recruited by all these different schools?
Firstly, I'll just take like a 2 week break, which is always like the Christmas break. Season always ends around December. So either a 2 week break, then after that I'm back at it. For the most part, conditioning, probably do some boxing. I've been doing that for quite a while. Uh, then like football specific wise, my school, we got these things called factories where the defense comes in almost like every Saturday and we continue to work on what we did in the season. So I could just that's like really the off season workouts. Then spring ball right around the corner. So it's not really much I can really do because I only have like a week. I mean like 3 weeks whole break. Then spring football is coming back up. But other than that, just sticking to what I know and sticking to what I do, just to stay in shape.
Max, you want to go ahead? If you had a question, I'm not sure if you did.
Yeah, last question I got for you, Ruben. So Mario has only been at Miami for a couple of weeks now. How has that contact been with him specifically, and have you had contact with him while he was over at Oregon as well?
To both questions, yes, I have, and the I can say like the communication it picked up 100 times more. Coach Cristobal, he talks to me almost every morning, just a simple good morning text or just a good luck text on my games. Have a good day. Have a good day in practice. Anything like that. He's just doing a lot more than I was expecting, and that's like really really a good sign to me because it just shows that the little things are important too, and that even though it's only a good morning, I'm still on his mind. He's still thinking about me, so I really appreciate that.
Do you tell you he's not gonna let you leave either?
Yeah, he told me that.
Good.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. And listen, we are right. We are the Six Rings Canes show, right? This is we talk a lot about the Miami Hurricanes and everything that's going on there. So I would not be doing the right thing if I didn't ask you about the Miami Hurricanes. And obviously your father played, excuse me, here for the Canes, and so there's a lot of love there for the Miami Hurricanes. What you know if you decide that the Hurricanes is a spot for you, right? You want to pursue that, or you're interested in the Miami Hurricanes and playing for them. What would it feel like to play at the same school, that your old man played at, and just the whole feeling about playing as the Miami Hurricane? How would that feel?
Like second nature, because I already got about a person in my family that knows how it feels to be a Cane, especially a Cane around that time. So I already know what to expect and what I have to do to just be a true Cane and like uphold the standard. So just going in and having the right mindset of, okay, I got to put my all into this, so we can get back to how we was, get back, just get back in general of Miami football from collegiate to pro.
That's awesome, man. We definitely, I think everybody could agree here that we could definitely um, agree to that and be excited about that, especially having you around campus a little more often. So we do appreciate that. And lastly, because I know Max does this on his show, or Flo does this on his show as well, we got to know what your playing weight is at, right? Where you're at right now as far as measurements and weight and height and all that. What are you at right now, Ruben?
I'm 6'2 3/4", so I just say I'm 6'3".
That's what I do too,
and
by the way. I'm 5'7 3/4", but I'm really 5'8" and 5'9" with sneakers on.
I thought you were gonna say you're 6'3".
Nah, no chance. My bad. Go
um,
ahead. Go ahead.
weight wise around 251ish, 252 at the most.
All right. Not bad. Not bad at all, man. That's a DN weight right there. That's a DN
Yeah.
weight. Yes, sir. Hey, listen. If anybody else doesn't have a question for Ruben, definitely, listen. We appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit with us, and obviously, we hope to possibly have you on again soon. And we'll definitely keep in touch and watch your recruiting as it goes on. But always a pleasure, man. And we love the Bain family. We definitely do. So we do appreciate you coming on.
Thank y'all for having me again, and no problem. I'll come on anytime.
Awesome. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Have a Merry Christmas and a
Thanks a
Happy
lot,
New
man.
Year,
Merry
man.
Christmas.
Y'all too. Happy holidays.
All right. That was pretty awesome. Reuben Bain on the show there. I see Max smiling a lot. I don't know if he's smiling at us, if you like that last question that I threw there.
Multiple things. Multiple things.
Multiple things. I mean, Max. I don't know, man. You know how excited we all are about Reuben Bain, the possibilities, right? And you heard it right there. I mean, Alabama, Alabama, of course, Alabama, right? Alabama, Penn State, Miami, Florida State, Clemson. Who else did he mention there? I'm missing a couple of people.
It's a better question to ask. Who did he not mention?
Who did
He
he
did
not
say I caught that
Oklahoma.
right. He did say not Oklahoma, right?
Not Oklahoma. Yeah, he said not Oklahoma. That's interesting.
Well, I think it's because Venables probably reached out when he was at Clemson, but hasn't reached out to him at Oklahoma. That was the way
that's what I took away as well, Max.
Yeah. So, listen, man, I'm excited about that kid. I love what he said about Miami. Second nature, right? Like that was so damn cool, right? And of course, I mean, with an OG like Tolbert Bain around, it's kind of hard not to have that mentality. For the Canes. So really excited to see his development as it goes. And I thought he was a little bit taller, but so 6'2", 6'3", 250. That's not bad, man. He's a junior in high school now, right? So he's still got some growing to grow.
He's still got some growing. I just thought he had a good head on his shoulders. Like his answers were not just football. He kind of thinking. You can tell his dad's taught to him, like kind of has gone through this because he was. I thought he had a good kind of broad perspective overall on what he's looking to do, and like, hey, if football doesn't work, I want to make sure I get a degree. So
Yeah.
I was really impressed with his answers overall.
I
If
also liked how he talked about his family, kind of educating him on the business side of things, especially with the NIL deals, and all this money being thrown around. That's going to be very important because if I was an 18-year-old kid with some of the money that these kids are getting, I couldn't promise you that I'd spend it in all the right places.
Hurricane Kilo 407 says Ruben sounds like a very smart kid. Yeah, he does
Yeah.
sound like he does like sound.
Mhm.
But if you hear him, and yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard Tolbert speak or been around Tolbert when he's speaking. I mean, that's it kind of sound.
I know you were
Yeah,
with him like 3 weekends ago.
that's why, and I heard him speak, and I heard some stories, and he just has that same kind of vibe as his old man. So it was really cool to see. It was really nice for him to come on too. I know these kids got so many things going on nowadays, that for him to be able to come on this little show here and talk a little bit about his recruiting and what he's going through right now is pretty awesome. So um real quick, kind of want to turn it back over to what we were talking about regarding coaching. We talked a little bit about McClendon. Max, you talked a little bit about him, and I know you got to run out. So if you got to head on out now, Max, and I know you got a show at 9, but you can kind of plug what you got going on and where they can find you, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, I just want to make it known to the chat. It's actually his uncle,
I'm
not
sorry, I kept saying
not
his dad, didn't I?
not his father.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, you can find me on the Miami Flow channel. You will see me growing out a ridiculously long mustache because of a bet, and I'm there on Tuesday nights at 9:30 Eastern every week. With Flow, and we got guests on. A Black's pretty much a part of our show. We're trying to convince him to join the team Flow right now. And so it's just been a ton of fun. We kind of announced it a little bit last night, but we currently have 5 players signed to NIL deals. I'm going to try not to butcher any of them. Brashard Smith, Elijah Arroyo, Chase Smith, Keontre Smith, and
Troutman.
Deshaun Troutman. But we are going to be signing a minimum of 9 more players by the first week of February. So, yeah, we're expanding our brand with these NIL deals because of all the support that we've had here the last couple of months, which is awesome. And I'm super excited for it. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming on, man. We
Of
appreciate it.
course, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on again. You guys take care.
See you later. Cool, man. That was a great first half hour of the show, man. I mean, I was super excited about getting Reuben Bain on because we talk about him so much and how we think he's going to be a real special talent, and quite frankly, he should be a top, if not the number one player, he's got to be a top 5 player in the country next year, for the 2023 recruiting class. So pretty excited about that. Going back to it, Brian McClendon, Vish, DJ. I don't know if you guys done a little bit of research on him, but we'll start off with DJ. Brian McClendon is the new. Looks like he's going to be the new wide receivers coach for the Canes, and like Max said, hell of a recruiter, one of the top recruiters in the country again. Right, like he actually won the award for best recruiter a few years back. So, what is that bringing in a guy like that, DJ? How does that help this staff and from a recruiting perspective also?
Well, it just gives them another weapon that they can utilize to get players to the program. You already have a coach in Mario Cristobal who has shown energy, who has shown that he wants to be here, and who is dedicated to bringing back Miami football. We talked about last week. He was already at schools looking at players with, staff members, and bringing in McClendon just kind of solidifies the energy and passion that this staff has. It may sound cliche, but compared to what we were dealing with towards the end of things, it's a breath of fresh air. And McClendon, I believe I was reading today that he has 14 years of coaching experience, and he's been in the SEC. He was the National Recruiter of the Year, running backs coach for Georgia. He's seen it all across several levels of football, and anytime you can get a coach with SEC experience onto a staff, then that's certainly good for the program moving forward.
So now you got two you got two recruiters of the years on the
Yeah.
staff, the head coach, and now it looks like the wide receivers coach. He could be in another role because Rob Likens is still here right now. So I don't know how that dynamic is going to work or what he's going to do. Because obviously we've spoken about it. I don't know, Vish. How do you feel about? So here's the question I have. Right, Brian McClendon comes in on the staff. Is he the wide receivers coach and recruiting guy, or is he maybe go back to running backs and we keep Likens? What does he do? What does he bring to this program?
Yeah, no, I would expect him to be the receivers coach. I know Likens is still around, and assuming we still play the bowl game, we'll have an expanded role in the bowl game. But no, I would expect him to be the wide receivers coach. We're talking a lot about his recruiting prowess. He certainly has that. He's also developed some decent talent, so I don't think it's just recruiting. I'm more fascinated by we've hired an offensive line coach. We have a all right. Let's say we don't know for sure he's the receivers coach. He's definitely an offensive side of the ball coach.
Right.
Who's the offensive coordinator? Because we're hiring all his assistants for him. So I'm assuming we know who it is at this point, like or Cristobal does, but like there's been like zero like credible leaks or anything in that front. It's kind of curious. We're hiring all these offensive staff and have not announced the offensive coordinator yet. To me, that's
It's wild, and we're doing what
odd.
we're doing, and we're doing what we're doing on the recruiting trail, right? It's pretty.
Yeah, well, I
pretty
think
impressive.
Mirabal and McClendon are ace recruiters, as we said. So and so is Cristobal. So they're able to bring the talent in. I'm just curious. Like I'm assuming the offensive coordinator is known to Cristobal and he's okay with these hires because we're sitting there filling out his coaches for him, and then we're just gonna plug him in there. So to me, it's a little interesting that we've kind of got some position coaches in place without an offensive coordinator.
Torian mentions that Stephen Field was the National Recruiter of the Year. I don't know what year, if he was. You guys might want to fact check that. But if he was, so now we're talking about three guys, right? We're talking about three stud recruiters. Obviously, we saw how effective keeping Stephen Field around was, right? We just landed Jaleel Skinner basically because of him. So I think that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think it's important that these are multi-dimensional coaches because in addition to being able to recruit, they can also coach. I think in the past when we've gotten these quote-unquote recruiter coaches, they haven't been the best teachers. We haven't really developed as well as we probably should have. I think the important thing is these are all, as we mentioned, really strong recruiters, but they're also good teachers of the position. Like they'll develop the talent. Like Oregon's offensive line mauled people. We haven't mauled anyone in a long time, so it's not just that Mirabal will get the talent in; he'll coach it up, and So I think that's important too. That we keep talking about how we now have money. We don't have to make those choices between do we take the coach or the recruiter. No, you take them both because they're the same person when you get to that price point, and I think that's really important. We have not brought anyone in that's kind of inadequate at anything really.
And by the way, to answer your question, Vish, I'm kind of on the same boat. Like I think that we know who it is. It could be someone that's coaching a New Year's Six bowl, right? Like that's the whole thought process, right? And it's very cliche to say that because that's what happens now when you have a coach and you haven't hired, your offensive coordinator yet. And we're this far along in the season, right? We're almost at the national championship, so it's got to be someone that's playing in that game or that's coaching one of those New Year's Six bowls. It's got to be one of those guys, right? Like that's just the thing. Now we also heard that Dan Lanning, who's the new head coach over at Oregon, hired his own defensive line coach. Right, he brought the guy over from Texas A&M, which means now Joe Salavea is looking for a job, who happens to be one of the top, 3 or 4 defensive line coaches in the country as well. So does that mean that he could possibly come over and join Cristobal's staff? Would I be opposed to it? Absolutely not. Looks like Charlie Partridge. Am I saying his name right? Right, Coach Partridge. Looks like he's going to stay over at Pitt. I mean, and they, by the way, which also landed Keaton Slovis now from USC over there at Pitt. But so it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out because Jess Simpson, who has done a pretty good job with the defensive line as well in the past and now, who is going to potentially coach this bowl game if God willingly they get through it. We'll see. Oh, Tony Tui. What was his name? Tony Tuioti,
Tony
right?
Toyota. Yep.
Yep, from Nebraska. What are you talking about, Nebraska?
Yeah, well, DJ's got
No,
that inside Nebraska knowledge, so let's
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah.
they took him from Nebraska.
Oh, that's right. Not from Texas A&M. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Right,
And he's a
yeah.
good West Coast recruiter, so that makes sense for Oregon because they're going to need a lot of West Coast recruiting help with Lincoln Riley in town now. So I think it was a good hire. But anyway, getting
Yeah.
back to you guys talked about the New Year's, bowl games, the New Year's Six games.
Yeah.
I think you'll see a lot more movement once those games end because right now, there's a lot of teams with holes on coaching staffs and players in the transfer portal that they may want that they're not getting. I think you're going to see a lot more movement once these bowl games are over. So fans are going to have to probably play the waiting game because I see it all across the country. Fans are impatient about their team not getting player X or filling, positional need X. I think it's going to become a bit more clear across college football once these games end and we get into the off season.
Well, not only that, it's kind of the recruiting dead period now, anyways.
Yeah.
So, for those purposes, I don't know if it's going to make a huge deal. I think they're doing it the right way.
Well, I will admit, I did expect us to kind of have a lot of hiring announcements after the early signing day, and pretty surprised we haven't really seen much. Like, we haven't hired anyone that isn't coming over from Oregon yet.
Yeah, true.
So it's kind of weird that we're just kind of,
Uh-huh.
in a holding pattern right now. Like, we don't have a defensive coordinator
But you know what's
either.
crazy though? I'm not going crazy about it. Like, I'm very relaxed. I haven't even really. I mean, oh my gosh, who's the OC? Oh my gosh, who's the DC? Like, I haven't really been like that. I've been kind of like,
I think there's a good reason for that. It's that Mario's a respected coach,
right.
and we have money. He's not going to bring in a dud. This is
Right.
not going to be a situation where we got Patrick Nix coming in because we couldn't get anyone else to take the job. So
It's funny you mentioned him because Bo Nix just committed to Oregon. He's gonna
Oregon,
be-
yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting fit, I think, but you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who knows what offense they're going to run?
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's all new for everyone. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's kind of interesting. He committed without an offensive coordinator. A lot
Right.
of strange things happening.
It's gonna
It's
be
just the
interesting.
wild, wild west out there in college football right now. You never know what's going to happen the next day,
Got a
Crazy.
couple of questions here. And by the way, I saw Chug.
So-
Chug is here. What's up, Chug? How you doing, man?
So
And-
Anthony asked a bunch of questions about
Yeah, I'm
corners
trying to
in
scroll
the
down a
class,
little
and
bit.
I honestly don't know anything there. So
So
I can't.
as far as corners and back-to-back tight ends, yeah. So look, by the way, less no OC news. That's what we're talking about now. We don't know exactly who it's going to be just yet. I'm sure, hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, we'll hear something. Here we go. With Marcus Banks already committed and possibly signed with Mississippi State. I think he meant what's the backup plan at corner in the transfer portal. So, yeah, big surprise there. Last minute at the 11th hour, Marcus Banks decides to commit to Mississippi State as opposed to Miami when everybody thought he was going to Miami. There's a lot of things at play there. Okay. I don't know if it was just fit wise, he wanted to stay in the SEC. It could have been an NIL deal that came through. I mean, there's a lot of things, right? And now when people say, money is an issue, yeah, money was definitely probably a factor. And that's okay. It's kind of legal to say that now, as opposed to, he's dropping a bag and everybody's like, oh, hush, hush. No, I think, that could definitely have played a role in it. Who knows what it was. There is a lot of, if you guys watch, I'm going to plug Flo's show, or Max. It was actually Max's show last night. Flo was talking about it, man. There's a couple of guys out there that haven't jumped into the transfer portal yet, but that should be transferring, possibly going into the transfer portal in January. There's another kid out there right now that Miami is looking at pretty hard as well. So there's a couple of names out there. I wouldn't get too concerned about it. There's still a lot of time to sign players, and I think players are going to start going on visits, things of that nature, and you're going to see that Mario is going to land one of these guys. Look, some guy that came out of nowhere was Jake Lichtenstein, right? Well, we kind of really didn't see that happening. If we know anything about him, he's a local kid from Cypress Bay who didn't really have the measurables to play at the Power 5 immediately. Found a way to get onto USC's team. Was hurt for most of his career, and then year 3 started played really well and then got a little hurt again, I think, or I'm not sure what happened. But he's back here now. Now he looks like an absolute man. And yes, happy holidays to Uncle Joey as well. He looks like an absolute man child. Like he looks like he ate Jake Lichtenstein. So he's a big dude now. So he can definitely come in and contribute on that line right away and probably possibly be starting end on this team. So you're still going to see a lot of movement when it comes to the transfer portal. I think we're definitely not done. Uh, at the cornerback position, I could see us getting, snatching another guy, one or two more kids there. So Joe is already listed on Miami's website. Are we talking about Joe Salavea? Is that who MJ is talking about there? Joe Salavea, the defensive line coach. Um, He's already listed. Interesting. Ryan Watts from Ohio State. So Joe is already listed on the Miami website. Yeah, I'd have to look at that. I'm not. I usually don't look at that website too much, but if he is, that would be another huge get, right? So allegedly, as Max likes to say, that would be another huge get at the defensive line position. So, Jazz, who are the most underrated corners in the state of Florida above 6 feet? Because people are talking about McLean all the time in next year's cycle. Yeah, it's for me, it's Cormani McLean, and I'm not sure who else. I still need to kind of do a lot of research on that to see who some of the other top corners are. But McLean is a real deal, and he's working out with Lance Leggett up in Polk County. So Lance is in his ear, which we'll get Lance on the show again soon because we had him on at the
Yeah,
beginning.
Lance is a friend of the show,
He definitely
yeah.
is. So we'll definitely get him on to talk about Cormani McLean, who's the big time 5-star cornerback in the 2023 class. That's up in Central Florida area. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts there. So we didn't even talk about we didn't even talk. Uncle Joey mentions the offensive line coach Alex Mirabal. We didn't really talk about him because we talk about him all the time. I mean, he's Mario's right hand man. He's there for everything. He's one of the top. He's all of 5'4", 5'5", but he is the toughest SOB in the world. He's one of the top offensive line recruiters and developers and coaches altogether in the country. So really excited to have him on the program, at the program, recruiting and developing these guys. Because if there's one thing that we do know, is that we need help at the offensive line position. Still, they started to play a lot better as the season progressed, but that you're going to have to plug and play a couple guys there. And I know there's some big names out there that the Miami Hurricanes are going after also, not only as transfer portal guys, but a guy like Josh Connerly, who's from Washington, who was committed to Oregon. David Luley, I believe, is the other kid's name, the other commit for Oregon that Miami is looking at real hard as well. Looks like he's going to make a visit down here in January. There's a couple of guys. Cyrus Moss, apparently, by the way, word is that he did not sign on Friday, and he's still going to announce January 8th. Not sure if that's good for us or not. So there's a lot of things going on in recruiting there. Shamar Stewart's another kid that we're going to see. So, talk to me a little bit about what you guys want to see to fill out this class, because I think that's what we really want to talk about when it comes to recruiting is, what you want to see to fill out this class. What are some of the names that you want to see pull the trigger and become Hurricanes?
Yeah, I think you hit a couple of them. I think Cyrus Moss, I'm getting a little Marcus Banks vibes there. We felt really good about him, and now it's like not happened yet, and you're kind of probably a little bit worried that something has changed. Although it did always feel like it was a little weird that he was going to sign but not tell anyone and somehow keep it a secret all the way to the All-American game. To me, it makes a lot more sense to just not do that now, because once you put that paperwork in, like, it's going to get out. Like, there's no way it's not. So to me, that makes sense. I definitely am a big fan of his. I mean, Shamar Stewart would be kind of, I would say, icing on the cake at this point. I still feel like he's going to A&M. So to me, that would just be a, wow, we got him too. Great. I wouldn't really be upset though if we don't. I'm not really expecting it. Yeah, and then I just really, I mean, we have those needs. You mentioned offensive line and then corner. Like, I still feel like we talking a lot about the portal. I still feel like we can pull another corner. We did well in the defensive backfield. I think just overall our class, there's not a lot of volume there. So we signed 8 guys, 9 guys, whatever it was. It's a small class right now, so I think we can use almost across the board, just getting more depth in there. If we can get something else at linebacker, I'm a big fan of Wes, obviously. So it's hard to say now with the portal. Like, I don't know, I still haven't wrapped my head fully around kind of how you apportion that. because you get someone from the portal that are probably more ready to play now. We definitely have holes on at linebacker right now and corner that need to be addressed immediately. So maybe go to the portal for that. But yeah, I definitely like if we can get Cyrus Moss or Shamar Stewart or even both. That's where you start building kind of that foundation to like beat the crap out of people in two or 3 years.
And you got to get guys like that. And I think Mario will get guys like that, right? I think that's what we need to realize is that I think Mario will get guys like Shamar Stewart and guys like Cyrus Moss. Another linebacker that we're looking at, TJ Dudley, who's another big time kid as well. A big linebacker. I think he's like 6'1", 220 already. So which is nice to see. So there's a lot of players out there. Vish, you mentioned the cornerback position. I don't think they're done. Look, if Tyreek comes back, like he said, apparently he was, that'll be huge as well to get Tyreek Stevenson back for another year. Quite frankly, I think that if he does come back for another year, that could really bode well for his draft status anyways. So I'm excited to see what happens in the next 2 or 3 weeks because it's going to be important to, right after the dead period ends, that Coach Cristobal is going to have an amazing kick-ass weekend where he's going to invite all these big-time guys to come over. And Connerly's going to come and David Luley is going to come and some of those West Coast kids from up in the Pacific Northwest that were considering Oregon are now going to come down and check us out. And then he's going to get all the other guys. There's a couple of guys from Alabama that he's looking at. And then you'll get the 2023 kids over here, and Jalen Brown and Brandon Ennis and, all these big-time wide receivers and Cormani McLean and obviously Reuben the Hurricane Bain, baby. So I think we're fine, man. We're in good hands there. So I think it's going to be exciting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. And, of course, the coaching staff, I know we're excited about that.
A lot of news coming up for sure. A lot of news.
And it's going to come out fast, too. Like Fast and Furious, you're going to see boom, boom, boom. You're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. And then you're going to see something quiet. So we're kind of fact-checking this. I think it was MJ who posted it up. That Joe is already on the website, Joe Salavea. We don't see him. So I'm not sure.
I just checked and I didn't see him either.
I looked. If you got the link to like where he's listed there.
Yeah,
that
would
be good.
We can check it out.
Just imagine. Oh, and Anthony writes. Just imagine the three-headed monster at corner of Florence, Graves, and Rogers. Yeah, look, a guy that we don't talk enough of is Chris Graves. I think that he's going to make an immediate impact because he's so versatile, and he's kind of ready. His body is ready. Kamari Rogers is another kid that's going to be, I think, a stud. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if we can get Florence to come over from not USC, from Southern Cal, and maybe kind of join Mario down here. He was committed to him at Oregon, and obviously now he is looking at Miami a little bit as well. So I think it's gonna be exciting, guys. So just stay tuned for that. Ryan Watts to Texas. I guess he's a kid that transferred from Ohio State. Another kid that transferred from Ohio State. See, I'm not too sure. That's why we got to get Flo on these shows to talk about some of these recruiting kids. And
it's a full-time job trying to keep up with all this.
There's over 800 kids. I think there's like 1,000 kids in the portal, and it's ridiculous, man. It's just too much. It's a shame. It's a shame though, because some of these kids, they got to relax, man. Like, I understand a new player comes in, a new coach comes in, or you're a freshman, you don't get playing time. You got to relax, man. You got to develop. There's a reason why you're not getting playing time, unless you played for the Hurricanes. Then we know why you weren't getting playing time. But that's neither here nor there. I digress on that. Do you, Rich 2X writes, do you guys think we get wide receiver Kevin Coleman? K. Coleman obviously is Kevin Coleman.
Yes.
Another big time guy. Yes. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yes, I think he's ours.
I think he's a strong Miami Hurricanes lean. I think that Cristobal, I never want to say he's got someone in the bag because you never know when these kids change their minds more than their underwear. So I'm going to say yes. I'm pretty confident. So we're just going to have to wait and see. He's another one that's going to announce, I think, at the All-Star, at the All-American game. So meditation, I totally missed this. Meditation Marvel. What's the word on T2, the transfer from Maryland? Yeah, we haven't really spoken a lot about him. I did ask a couple of people. I've asked Max, I've asked Flo about T2. And I think at this point, it's all about fit, right? Like it's all about the fit here with Mario more than anything else. Does he want to be a Hurricane? Yeah, I think he does. I think he does want to play here. But at the end of the day, it's about fit. It's about a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah, and this might be another situation too where not having the staff in place kind of slows things down there a little bit. He's obviously a local kid that went to Maryland, so I do think to Jazz's point, I think he wants to come home and play at Miami. It's really just a matter of getting the whole. Yeah, Mario's there and that's great, and he's in charge of the thing. But I do think making who's the defensive line coach going to be, who's the defensive coordinator going to be. Those types of things matter, especially when you're in the portal. So I think kind of getting that in place and kind of then figuring out to Jazz's point, is he a fit for what we're building here? But I do think there's probably mutual interest at this point. Is probably the best way to put it. Got to iron out some of the details.
That's it. That's it. So, I don't know if I can think of anybody else right now. It's just so many things going on for the holidays right now that I haven't even thought about some of the recruiting kids. I know there's a lot of kids out there that are in the transfer portal that are still going to visit as well. So keep an eye out for that. You're going to start hearing a lot of names come up soon. A lot of names. Trust me, you're going to hear a lot of names, and some names you're not going to hear, and all of a sudden they are going to pull the trigger and commit. Look, there's a kid from Cornell, a big time offensive lineman. I know we're thinking about Cornell. Like, who the hell? I mean, trust me, he's getting a lot of looks from a lot of big time Power Five schools right now. I can't remember his name. He's an offensive tackle, grad transfer. I think he is from Cornell. That it would be he would be a plug and play kid right off the bat. So I think that is going to be interesting to watch as well. Keep an eye on him. He is getting a lot of interest from a lot of Power Five schools. Anthony writes Jax. I'm not sure what that means, but Giuliano, what up? What up, kid? What's going on, man? Old school friend of mine there, man. Appreciate you coming on and checking us out, Giuliano. Uncle Joey writes, what's the word on wide receiver Frank Ladson, the transfer from Clemson? That's another kid, right? Like, he's been crystal balled. I love that. By the way, we got to put that on shirt, right? Crystal balled. He's been crystal balled to Miami. A big kid, 5-star prospect out of South Dade, ended up going out of state, going to Clemson. Didn't really do a whole lot there. They said he had an issue with the dropsies, but hey, so did a guy named Charleston Rambo. So, I mean, listen, whatever, man. I'm not too concerned about that. He's a 6'3" kid, big, long, strong kid. And those kind of things, if you get a good guy like a Rob Likens in here or Brian McClendon that can, kind of coach him up and develop him a little bit. I'm not. And plus, right now, I think the word is that he might not even be the best wide receiver. He might be the four or five, number 4 or 5 on this team right now with all the guys that we have here. So,
yeah, and that's a good point too, just in terms of the type of receiver he is. He's a bigger kid who'll go up and get the ball. We're loaded at wide receiver, but we don't really have a lot of guys.
Big guys.
Yeah, we don't have that size, so we can kind of bring a different dynamic to that wide receiver room, which is important because just bringing in another explosive guy. We've got quite a few of those already. I don't know that they would even necessarily crack the rotation, but he can bring something else, open up some different play calls for us, which is why I think there's interest there.
That's why a kid like Isaiah Horton is so important for this recruiting class too. That we grabbed him because he's another big kid, man. He played at a big school in Murfreesboro, Oakland, over there in Tennessee. But so he has a talent, but he can go up and snatch the ball, right? 6'3", 200-pound kid, 4-star prospect. So he was a big dude. But that's only one guy, right? Like you need a couple more guys like that. And I think it was important to get a kid like, it's important to get a kid like Frank Ladson and maybe some of these other kids that are big coming in. And because if you want to play big boy football, you need some of these big dudes to go out there.
Right. You gotta have all the bullets in your gun.
Everything. Absolutely.
And we don't have that really in our wide receiver room right now. So certainly
we got a lot of guys that are fast, shifty, can run great routes, can get lost in space. But who are we going to throw it up to, on a fade route right now? Who's the biggest target? Probably Romello Brinson, right? We've seen him do it a couple of times. But, you got to get a big guy like 6'3", 6'4" kid that can just go up and snatch it out of the air. So
you need a red zone threat.
A red zone, exactly.
Yeah, we haven't really had anyone like that since Cager, really, that would go up and get the ball.
Yeah. I don't remember anybody. Giuliano with the dono. There we go. There we go. Just see, all we have is $495 left before I grow out my man bun. So
Is this just for today, or is this like a rolling total?
no, it was just for today, so we're screwed. We're not
Oh,
gonna
come
get there.
on, man. We're not getting
You got to do a rolling
$500.
total. Come on.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. From here till signing day. How about that? From here to signing day.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. So
I'm trying to figure out how much I want you to grow a man bun, because I might just fund the thing if we can see this.
Happy holidays, guys. Keep doing your thing. Listen, anybody that's on the chat or checking us out, make sure you go on the website and get our gear, man. Get the new 16 shots of Cuban coffee shirt. It's really cool. You can get it in a long sleeve in black, and you can also get it short sleeve in orange or in black. They're cheap, man. It's not that bad.
Great design.
Yeah,
too.
it's really
Great
it's really cool. By the way, we appreciate Parks and Rec, Alex from Parks and Rec, who did the design, which was awesome. So we really do appreciate it, and we're pretty excited about it. Anthony, another question here from Anthony: if Mario keeps Coach Likens on the staff at offensive coordinator, is it because of his relationship with TVD and Jake? Listen, I don't think you can just keep a guy on staff just because of a relationship with a couple of players. I think if you keep him on the staff, it's because he can develop players. It's because he can recruit. It's because he has great relationships with kids now. Does Likens fit all of that? Yes. I don't think it's just because of his He loves his wide receivers. He loves his team. He loves being here. And he's done really great. I mean, if you think about it, he's done a really great job with those wide receivers. So I can see him kind of sticking, in some form or capacity. I don't know if as an offensive coordinator, but it'll be interesting to see what Mario does. I think he has a plan. So,
Yeah.
and Mario, we trust, man.
And it is possible that McClendon does running backs and Likens stays as wide receiver coach, but I don't think he would do it just because of the relationship with the players. Mario's thinking, 5-year plan, win the championship type of thing. He's not worried just about next year, so he wouldn't make decisions that are kind of targeted at the short term.
Right. Robert Slappy Jr. I love that name. Robert L. Slappy Jr. What's the word on the offensive lineman for this class? Yeah, we kind of spoke about this a little bit earlier. Josh Connerly, David Luley, some other kids, that kid from Cornell that I can't remember his name.
I'll go look him up.
There's a lot of other kids out there that are still, being recruited hard by Mario and this staff to come in on the offensive line. You're going to hear some names, some transfer portal kids, and some high school kids as well. So, what else do we have? Oh, David Settles. He says Michael Redding. So yeah, Michael Redding is a bit of a bigger body. He's not very tall though. He's still maybe about 6 feet, I believe, 6'1" at the most. And he's not very quick. So he's probably your biggest body right now. That's been here. He has the potential, but he's been so hurt. He's been hurt the last couple of years, so he's going to have to, get rid of that injury bug to be able to come in and contribute. So that's the thing with Michael Redding. So Jazz, don't forget, we can flex both Elijah and Skinner to receiver. Yeah, we can do that also. And I think that, look, don't count out Jaleel Skinner as a kid that can come in right away and produce as some sort of a red zone threat as well, because he still doesn't have the weight to be a full-time tight end, right? He's at about 210, 215 now. So he's going to have to gain some weight, but he's tall enough, right? 6'6". Oh, Danny. Oh, perfect. Appreciate it. Hunter Norzard. I don't know if I'm saying that. I'm probably butchering that name. But Hunter Norzard was a kid from Cornell that's been recruited by a lot of Power 5 teams. That's an offensive lineman to keep an eye out on.
I've seen his name all over the place in terms of like college football timelines on Twitter. I see like, oh, blessed to be offered by this school and that school. So
Right.
he definitely is a coveted prospect for sure.
Yep, absolutely. I think if Mario can kind of get in his ear a little bit more, I know he's looking at some other schools too. That could be a good one. Ladson, Horton, big bodies. Yeah, we mentioned that. DT. Vish, you posted it there. That's the website there. If you guys can check it out, that's the website for the merchandise. Make sure you guys go get it. We'll be doing a giveaway soon as well. And I'm gonna put something together with Vish and with Danny. We'll do a nice giveaway for the fans also. So we'll see what happens there. We got it looks like we have a bot talking about OSU here. I think we need to block that person.
Yeah, it's happening in a second. Don't worry.
Yeah. Get out of here, you dumbass.
That's when you know you've hit the big time, when you start
Yeah,
getting
we're
the bots on your
we got
We
channel.
get OSU bots. Yeah,
Stupid
this
Ohio
is
State people.
something. Yeah.
Is Miami targeting a wide receiver who can stretch the field? Yeah, absolutely. Miami's targeting everybody. I mean, first of all, Kevin Coleman is a kid that can stretch the field. That's the first one you got to think about, right? As far as 2022 kids, there's still some other kids out there that I'm sure that they are targeting in this 22 class. But start looking at that 2023 class. First of all, we have kids on the team now that can stretch the field. Don't get it twisted. Like Brinson, Jacoby George can stretch the field. Brinson can stretch the field. Some of those kids can really go out there and they can. I mean, we saw Brashard Smith stretch the field, okay, on a wheel route. So he wasn't even lined up as a wide receiver, which you're going to see a lot of with that. Okay, so you got a lot of players that can stretch the field. But from the 2023 class, you're probably looking at guys like Jalen Brown and Brandon Ennis and Nathaniel Joseph, who's committed to Clemson now. But that's not going to stop Mario from recruiting him. Nathaniel Joseph, you get all these kids, all these big time players. Hakeem Williams is another one that all these kids can really stretch the field, and they're big body receivers as well. So
Yeah,
I think
I would
that's
also just say I'm glad you brought up the existing roster because wide receiver is probably, if not our deepest position, it's one of our deepest. So we're not gonna. Yeah, I think Kevin Coleman's our top target for a reason. He's
right.
kind of a multi-dimensional receiver who can definitely stretch the field. I don't know that we're necessarily gonna reach for someone as like, oh, we got to get someone to stretch the field because we got plenty on the team that can do that. That has not been an issue for us.
Hurricane Kilo says, "Smash that like button, smash that like button, baby." We're gonna get out of here soon, but I don't even know if we missed anything. Did we miss anything? Excuse me. Did we miss covering anything? I don't think so.
No, just hopefully we have a Sun Bowl.
Yeah.
If you've been following the news on that, things aren't at their healthiest. Let's just put it that way. Coral Gables right now, but it is. I mean, I guess the glass half full part of that is the entire team entered the COVID protocol apparently to just because there has been an outbreak within the team, so now you want to isolate and all that. But they did do it 10 days out from the game. So there's plenty of time to kind of have that work through, and as of now, they haven't canceled anything, and it looks like we're going to try and play it. I mean, we do make money if we play it, so I think we'll try to play it. They want to play it. It's good for the seniors to get that last game, so I do think it'll go forward. So assuming that, I think that'll be probably next week's big topic, right? Because it'll be the day before the game or a couple of days before the game. So yeah, assuming that's still happening, and we haven't canceled that, I think probably next week is the time to maybe actually talk some on-field stuff.
Right.
And just another moment. What's been a crazy year all around, it seems, huh?
It's been unbelievable. Tropical
Never
Park.
ends.
If you guys know Tropical Park, which is obviously the site of where everybody wants the new stadium to be at, they went by to grab dinner today right across the street from it. And the line for the COVID testing there is out on the actual street on Bird Road. I know DJ, you're not from here, but if you think about Bird Road is one of the big major streets here in Miami, Miami proper, I guess, city, and it was down the street, Vish, to I don't know. So Vish, Three Chefs? You know where Three Chefs is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was past Three Chefs. It was across. It was almost down to 87th Avenue.
Jeez.
That's how far it was. It's about a 4 or 5 hour wait.
Man, you usually only get that for Sands Enchanted Forest. What the hell?
It's crazy. It's crazy. So
I can imagine though, because even in Boston, like the lines are starting to get pretty big, and it's the lines stretch several blocks around the city just to get tests, and
it's people that are traveling. And
it's a couple of things. It is obviously there's a spike going on, but also people just want that negative test. Like they're gonna go see their family. They want that
for the holidays.
Exactly.
Yeah, they want all their family members to look. I tested negative. You don't got to worry about it.
Exactly. So which I'm doing here. I'm doing here from my family too. I mean, it's only a couple of us, only like 10 of us here, but everybody either get a test or been vaccinated or make sure that you're good. If you're feeling sick at all, please stay home. So I'll answer this one last question, and it's from Robert Slap. Yeah, I'm a little late, but what are the chances at getting Cyrus Moss and some more linebackers? Thanks, fellas. You guys are awesome. Appreciate the love, Robert. So we spoke a little bit about Cyrus Moss. There's still a shot. Apparently, he didn't sign his national letter of intent this past week or last Friday, excuse me. But he is still apparently going to announce January 8th. Some people say that's a good thing for us. Some people say that it may be that he's having second thoughts about, I think it's down to USC. It's really down to USC and Miami. I really think so. I really think that it's down to those two. And he's a West Coast kid, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough pool.
I still do like our chances with him. The fact that he cut his USC trip short to fly cross country and come visit, and yeah, you would love to have that commit right after, because now it's kind of like after the dust settles, you might be rethinking it. But I still, if I had to guess right now, I would say I still think we'd get him.
We're still trying to check if it's official that Reuben Bain has been hired as a GA by Mario. It looks like all signs are pointing to that. Still trying to get an official. I think there is one, but whatever. I don't want to.
Yeah,
kind of. I'll hold off on it. But yeah, I mean, look, that doesn't hurt, right? If he does come in and as a GA here, he's got his brother here. And his uncle, which I kept saying his dad, it's his uncle. Jesus, I'm so terrible. I butchered that. But his uncle who played for a national championship team. So here at the University of Miami, he's a legend here at the university. So that's going to be huge for Reuben Bain. If you didn't hear Ruben's interview earlier, go back and check it out. I think we're going to go ahead and end here because I got to wrap gifts. I got to eat. Everybody's got to do stuff. Vish is actually on vacation, so we appreciate you coming on for an hour and talking some Miami Hurricanes football, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, happy to do it.
Again, look, we want to thank everybody for joining us on the show. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. Make sure that you stay safe. Wear your mask, people. Just stay safe. Hug your loved ones. Have a good time and stay safe again. But we thank you so much for joining us here on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel, on the YouTube network channel as well. And of course, make sure you subscribe, like us, and go cop that shirt. Go get that shirt. That shirt is awesome. It'll be a great present for you.
Let me drop the link in there again in case you didn't catch it.
Drop the link. Do you have the photo really quick you could post up real quick?
Yeah,
because I know some of you still on.
Let me see what I can do there. Should still have it open, I think.
Gary Caput just said, "I'll have to be in the rewatch crew for this one."
Oh,
Danny,
Gary's here.
Yeah, Danny, you should. No, he texted. So
oh, Tyson.
Yeah, you gotta give him. He DM'd or he posted on Twitter, so you gotta give him a hard time about it. There's a shirt. There's a Mario's Cuban coffee shirt. So it's 16 shots of Cuban coffee and 2 hours of sleep, baby. Look at that. It's pretty sweet. And you can get it in black. You can get it in black as well, and you can get it long sleeve also. Long sleeve in black. So it's pretty fresh, man, and it's not very expensive either. But it's a nice little gift for yourself or for anybody that loves the Miami Hurricanes. So
I'm just really disappointed that Gary missed when you misidentified someone from Nebraska and DJ was on top of it, man.
I know, Gary. Where were you? Where were you? You should have been here.
When you rewatch this, you missed a relevant Nebraska moment.
You did,
and DJ was right on top of it.
He was right on top of it.
He really I was.
That's why we have the Big Ten guru on here. So. Thank you guys for coming on again, Vish, DJ. You guys are awesome as always. And I don't know if we'll be on next week. Maybe we'll take a little bit of a Christmas and New Year's hiatus. Yeah. So for everybody,
we'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
play it by ear. We'll let you guys know who are watching. What you guys know.
I feel like definitely if there's no Sun Bowl, we will definitely not.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That point, that's probably side that let's if they take the bowl game off, we take the week off.
At that point, that's it. CC, no, Mr. Video Gamer. All right, man. Whatever you say, brother. We love you guys. Thank you guys again for coming on and spending some time with us here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Go Canes. See you guys soon.
Go Canes.